Good morning, Sir D. I hope you're feeling better. I definitely hope you're feeling better. Good morning. You're more than welcome, good friend. Good morning, Wazzy. Good to see you. What's the weather like up there in Wisconsin? Are you cold? Have you guys started to heat up yet? Good morning, Herbie. An exception. Good morning, exception and Herbie. Good morning, Kylie. And all the dogs. Good morning, Forley and Cleanster. Good morning, Cleany. Zozo, LSD, and Trenty. Right, Oz? It keeps giving us these fake springs, these false springs. Do you know that it snowed here yesterday? It was just a sprinkle. It lasted about a half hour. Didn't even gather on the ground, but it was this very light snow. Now, I thought that was the other snow was going to be the last of the year, but this is one long winter. Longest since I've been here in Detroit. It's a long winter. I've never heard that term, a blackberry winter. That's right, Herbie. Mother Nature is just teasing us. Good morning, Rodman. Who else this morning? Who else is here? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Salimon. Good morning, Salimon. Good morning, Bud. I already told you I wanted that name when I was a kid. Bud Anderson from Father Knows Best. Good morning. Turn the music down a touch. My little music experiment yesterday didn't work. I went off back and watched the beginning of the program. And you guys were right. The music was completely out of sync, or just the pitch of it and all. Too loud and too pitchy. And it's interesting. I can't experience what you guys are experiencing at your end. Not Bud with Married with Children. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't really care for the Married with Children show. But at the same time, I was deeply entrenched in a particular religion, and I allowed that show to offend me. Believe it or not. I would not have that same attitude today, but back when it was popular and everybody was watching it, I found it offensive, which is silly to me today. What's this now? First and didn't freeze during winter. Really, Trent? Really? But Trent, you're in one of the hotter areas possible. Oh, okay, Joe. Gotcha. I did like Christina Applegate, though. I gotta be honest. Christina, again, a little offensive. Had to be the dumb blonde stereotype. You know, the whole show was just... I would not feel the same today were I to have to sit down and watch it. And I'm glad. I was pretty darn narrow-minded. Right, Derek Anderson? She's very pretty. She's quite an actress, too, in her own right. I've seen her do a couple of things on streaming movies and stuff. She's actually quite good. Whatever happened to Bud, anyways? How come Bud never did more work? Ed O'Neill's a good comic actor. I liked him on that show where he had a family and he was married to who was it? Sonia Brigada, or what's her name? I forget the name of that show. Family? What was it? That was actually, I watched it like the first 3 seasons religiously. Modern Family, there it is, Derek. Modern Family. And I actually got a real kick out of that. Sofia Vergara. There you go. There you go. Now there's a very attractive woman. Modern Family, that's it. That's the one. Yeah. I actually found myself looking forward to, I can't wait for next week. And what I liked about it is they kept a storyline running through it. They kept a neat storyline running through it. Same thing with Friends. I was a Friends fan. I think I watched the first 6 or 7 seasons. I couldn't help but love Joey. I gotta be honest with you. I love Joey. And I got a kick out of the character. Phoebe, of course, was amazing. All of them were great characters. But Janice, Chandler's girlfriend. How about Janice, Chandler's girlfriend? They made her so annoying. She... Is that right, Joe D's? Ed and MacGyver. Yeah. Do you guys remember Janice, Chandler's girlfriend? Anyways, good morning, everybody. 28 people, 19 likes. And did you... Yep, Chandler Bing. Oh my God! Cyber knows it. I just heard her voice in my head, Cyber. Okay, did you guys remember to go to your chat options and hit all chat versus top chat? So you can see all the messages and all the chatting. Definitely R.I.P. Matthew Perry. I really liked Matthew Perry. Now, The Office was to die for, exception. To die for. I could watch any Office still today. Okay? I could watch any Office. The Office. I think I just look at Steve Carell and I start laughing. I haven't seen his new show because I don't get HBO. The Rooster. I still really have stopped watching a whole lot of TV. If anything, TV watches me. I might have it on in the background while I'm reading. I haven't seen the UK Office, but The Office, didn't they create that whole third wall, fourth wall, or whatever, how many walls, where they would turn and talk to the camera. Now a lot of the comedy shows do that, right? A lot of the comedy shows do that today. But I remember that well. It was such a neat... Dwight on The Office was to die for. Yeah, it's a good show. Good comedy. Good comedy. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here this morning. I'm glad to be here every morning, any morning. I want to make a quick shout out to Mystic Journeys Church. I was able to catch most of the program last night. You guys are doing a really good job, Derek and HB and Nerdy. You guys are you keep everybody's interest, and your message resonates with kindness. It truly does. You guys are doing a really good job. I do have a question for you. Okay, let me ask my question. How do I donate? How do I give you my $5 a month? Where do I send it? Exception, I agree. I love the Yellowstone stuff. And that 1883, 1923. Did they ever bring out the third season of that? How do I get you my $5 um, situation? What's the best way to get you that? You guys, if you get a chance, check out Mystic Journeys Church, 9 p.m. Okay, so you've given me the mysticjourneyschurch.org. HB, you'll message me later. Please do. Please do. That'll make it easy on me. I'm going to make it easy on old Paparoo. Okay? If anybody's got an extra $5 per month, like they said once, I think they said it last night, that's like less than a Starbucks cup of coffee nowadays. And it's to keep keep them doing what they're doing. Okay? Nerdy, you're too kind. You're too kind. You guys are really doing a very good job, and it's varied. You know, it's not always the same. With Pops, you get sort of stuck in my rut. But seeing those three heads and the different points of view and the smiles, especially yours, Nerdy. Boy, do you have a beautiful smile. You just, you project happiness. You truly do. I look at your face and I'm like, that is a happy mind. Okay? So, thank you for doing what you guys are doing out there. Is Mike Barabal here this morning? Have I seen Mike? Okay, HB, send me that information. I want to send you guys a donation. Okay? Is Mike Barabal here this morning? I was waiting to see Mike, if he's here this morning. Has anybody seen Mike? Mike the handsome Barabal. I'm scrolling back to see if he's said this morning. Ooga Booga. What is Ooga Booga? What's that all about? Mike, there's Mike is here. Mike's here. Mike B. Mike, are you still here? You made a Mike, you made a comment in the comment section yesterday that tugged at my heart, and I saved the space rather than writing in the comments last night. I saved the space, and instead of using up the space there, I said I am going to speak to Mike here on the program if he's here. Good morning, Mike. I see you. Mike, that was incredibly honest of you and transparent of you, the comment that you made. And basically, Mike was saying on the Mystic Journeys Church yesterday that things aren't always going as well as sometimes it's projected. And to the degree that he said he's kind of going through it. And I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't need it to be specific. Mike, I really care about you, and there's probably not a lot I can do for you remotely, but I can offer you this. Mike, if you would send me your address, I'd like to send you a package. It'll be supplementary supplements, okay? I want to send you some supplemental supplements, and dive into that package and use it perhaps instead of some of the other things. Okay? So sometimes that just works out, most all the time. All right? Send me your address and use what I'm going to send you perhaps instead of what you struggle with. Sound good, Mike? And since I'm doing that, hold on one second. Let's do this. Yesterday, I was going through triple zero. What's that all about? That's not kind. That's not kind. Unless, you're joking. But yesterday, I was going through, let me grab, hold on. I was actually going through a closet that I hadn't looked in for a couple of months, closet in my guest room, and I found a package. Are you guys ready? I found a package, and it's got to be at least a year old. It's got to be at least a year old, so be prepared. I found a package of freeze-dried penis envies. Cyber Jolie, when I told you they were ghosts, I was wrong. I forgot. They're penis envies. I found a package of freeze-dried penis envies. Okay? Now they're over a year old, but they have been air sealed. Okay? Freeze-dried penis envies. And that's what I'm going to be sending Mike. A package of those. Okay? They do look AP because of how blonde they are. But they also, when you freeze dry them, they kind of get that. Okay? Chuck, freeze dried or better, quote unquote, better. They hold more of their potency as we dehydrate or we freeze dry. Some of the psilocybin leaves the fruit. The freeze dried will capture more of the psilocybin. The dehydrate will evaporate more of the psilocybin. Okay? I'm going to give a package away for the rest of this week. One package for the rest of this week. Okay? Give me a number between 1 and 50. And whoever gets the number that's in my chute, I'm going to send an eighth, 4 or 5 grams, I would say, of freeze-dried penis envy. Give me a number, and you can give me up to 3 numbers on a line at one time. Go. You've already gone. Let's get these sent out to you guys. Okay? Let's get these sent out to you guys. We have freeze-dried penis envies that you can't wait to try. Remember, they're about a year old, but they've been stored in the dark, so they should still be incredibly potent. I have not seen the number on my screen yet. I'm waiting. I'm sorry, I said Chuck and it's Cluck. I apologize. I see now. Cluck, cluck. I still haven't seen the number on my screen. You have to be in the United States and over 18 to win these. Okay? I see somebody that's in Canada that just gave me the number. I can't send them to Canada, unfortunately. But if you guys know the Canadian here, there it is. We're going to send Married Michael. That's Daniel. Married Michael, it's a 6 was the correct number. Married Michael, you know that I've always been a little nervous about sending them to you. How safe is it to send you something right now? Considering my risk. Be honest with me, because the next person in line, I know who that is. Married Michael. I've always been, for the last year or so, been afraid to send you something. By the way, Merlin's back was the first person to say it. Merlin is in Canada. So I'm sorry, Merlin, I can't send him up there. Married Michael, you're going to tell me it's 100% safe to send it to you. Okay? I'm going to take your word for it. Send me your address at the DetroitMushLab@gmail.com, and we'll send off this package to you. Okay? And I agree, Merlin's still a winner in my book. He sent me a really nice email yesterday. I gotta be honest with you, Merlin, some of it I didn't quite understand. You rambled a little bit in there. But I got the gist of what you were saying, and I appreciated the message that you were sending. You're on quite a journey. Okay, married Maiko with trust. Okay. That's a good idea, Joe. I think I'll eliminate my, that's a good idea. Really good idea. I'll black out my return address, and then just, if they get stuck out there, they're stuck out there. Okay? Alrighty. Let's get started with today. Let's get started. Have a good day, Merlin. I'm sorry that I couldn't send them up to Canada. As it is, I send a lot of stuff to a certain situation in Canada that it's taken me about 3 years to make sure is very safe, very easy, and it's actually going to a Canadian research lab. Probably 80% of what we're growing right now goes to this lab, and we have an arrangement with them as being a farmer supplier. So lately I haven't been growing nearly as much as I used to. I hadn't been growing as much as I used to, and I haven't, in my opinion, an obligation to continue to do the work that I'm doing with them. So that always comes first. But the rest of this week, we'll be sending packages out. We'll give a 4 to 5 grams of freeze-dried peanuts envy away. If you've won once this week, then let everybody else have a chance. Okay? Cluck cluck, all you have to do is buy a freeze dryer. They're not cheap, but they end up paying off pretty well, because you can do more than just freeze dry your mushrooms. You can freeze dry fruit and all kinds of candies and soups. It's a real fun thing to work with as a freeze dryer. But the good freeze dryers out there right now are costing about $2,500. I'd have to look up which one I use. I haven't connected mine up in over a year. So I'll get back to the program on that. Harvest Right? What is the name of it? I don't have it on the end of my tongue. But Tyler's right. There's really only one good. And oilless are best. The oilless compressor, Tello. But it doesn't matter. They charge an extra $400 or $500 for the oilless compressor. I personally use the one with the oil, and you just change your oil pretty often. You can see when the water is getting into the oil in the viewer, and once your water starts getting, the oil starts getting watery, there's a drain plug. You just drain it and add more. Okay, so it saved me a few $100s, and I just changed the oil on the compressor pretty often. The more you change it, the cleaner your whole operation works. Okay? I'm going to read this to you guys. I'm going to read this. Does anybody know what the condition... Let me find it here. Hyperthymesia. Hyperthymesia. What is that condition? When somebody has hyperthymesia, what is that? Does anybody know? I'll fill you in. Hyperthymesia. You're welcome, Mike. Please give me your address. Hyperthymesia. It's when you have a memory that never fades. Extremely rare condition. Nima Vaish remembers what he wore last Tuesday, and the Tuesday before that, and every Tuesday, going back to age 15, because he has an extremely rare condition where his memory never fades. He also happens to be a data scientist, an abstract artist, an economist, and the new chief technical officer of Zendo project. We asked Nima how hyperthymesia shapes his relationship with psychedelics. What's behind the integration theory he developed for Zendo, and why the principles of psychedelic harm reduction go way beyond bad trips. Let me show you a picture of him. And this is a painting of his. He's going to reference his paintings here in this article. Okay? I saved these pictures just so I could show you guys. Here's another one of his paintings. Sorry. Have a great day, nerd. Hyperthymesia. How did you first realize your memory worked differently? And how long did it take to understand what was happening? It didn't happen all at once, he said. When you live inside your mind, you assume everyone experiences the world roughly the same way you do. It was probably about 3 years before friends started pointing out that I could recall conversations and details from specific days with a clarity that surprised people. Only by having others highlight it did I start to pay attention. I have a rare condition called hyperthymesia. When I joined a study at the University of California, Irvine, more than 15 years ago, they'd only identified about 60 cases in the English-speaking world. It's often described as an extreme form of eidetic or autobiographical memory. From a particular point in my life onward, I remember every day as if it were recorded on film, with visual, tactile, and sensory detail. Everyone with hyperthymesia seems to have a different trigger. Mine was the day I met my first girlfriend. They don't know why that happens, but that's where the tape started for me. Every day since, for more than 25 years, I've carried that kind of vivid recall. I joke that forgetting is a privilege I don't have. 99% of what we observe in a day isn't useful for survival, so it's noise. But when you have the entire data set, you start to see through the noise in ways you otherwise couldn't. How does having perfect autobiographical memory shape the way you experience psychedelics or think about integration? From what I understand, the half-life of an average person's memory is about 4 to 7 days. You have a 50-50 shot of remembering what you wore last Tuesday. Pull that all the way back, and people are roughly the moving average of their most recent 5 years of memory. In a Freudian sense, everything older lives in your subconscious. You may not be able to access those memories, but they are still there motivating you. One of the main reasons people use psychedelics is to reconnect with those memories and triggers and come to peace with what happened in the past. As a hyperthymestic, I don't really have a subconscious in the same way. My subconscious stopped aging at 15. So the things psychedelics are supposed to do, make the subconscious conscious, I was gifted with that. If you could follow that process all the way to its end, you basically arrive where I already am. So now I see psychedelics as an opportunity to explore structured side quests. One is being of service to others. For example, by walking friends through a journey. Another is deepening my own vulnerability. As someone who's practiced Vipassana, that's spelled Vipassana, for 2 decades, I believe in the connection between the body, sensation, and the mind. I looked up this Vipassana last night. What it is, it's a form of meditation. Here's the most amazing thing about it. If you want to learn this form of meditation, there's a 10-day course that's offered on how to learn and practice this form of meditation. You want to know the most amazing thing about it? Part of the deal is there's no cost, no charge. There are centers around the United States that teach it, and there's probably somebody in your state that teaches it, and there's individual practitioners who feel called to teach it, but it must be given away. Part of the deal with this is there's no charge. They don't want your money. Okay? Which is, to me, amazing. It connects with our message for later today. Vipassana. Might be Passana. Okay? The page just told us a lot of Buddhist temples are Vipassana type temples. Then I'm sure you could go there, and the deal is they won't charge you to teach you this form of meditation. Psychedelics give you, I'm going to go back to what he's saying. Psychedelics give you the opportunity to get out of your own way and find signal within the noise. And a third, that's neat, HP. Good morning, Rasclat. And the third ongoing quest is to refine integration frameworks that can be applied beyond the individual. Psychedelics might be one of the only chemical opportunities for someone to see the world as a hyperthymestic might, in its beauty, in its crystallized totality, with time standing still. That clarity into the subconscious, time invariant, is something I've only ever seen replicated through a psychedelic experience. Walk us through the theory of altered state compassionate integration that you developed for the Zendo project. What's the core idea behind this? He answers. The theory posits that empathetic and emotionally attuned support during transitions into or out of altered states facilitates psychological coherence, and it mitigates trauma by reinforcing trust safety, and a meaning-making process that transactional procedural approaches fail to activate. There are three basic elements: trust, safety, and meaning-making. I must tell you guys, as a side note, this is why I've moved to the facilitator mode, believing more in a facilitator than I ever did before. Before I was like, no, you could trip yourself and get what you can get out of it. There's a whole lot more involved. Let's go back to what he has to say. Altered states are broader than people think. It could be a psychedelic experience, the hypnosis of a movie, or even staring at a text message on your phone. All of these are forms of altered states. And while one is transitioning in and out of them, there's an opportunity to integrate and grow. Managed poorly, the transition creates negative side effects and potentially destructive behavior. Managed well, it helps people grow stronger. The prescriptive part of the theory is about minimizing noise during the transition. The best example is the principle of Vipassana. The reason the meditation course is free is that if you ever even paid $1, your ego would enter. You'd wonder what you're getting out of it. That's why we don't ask for any money here. Zero. I don't need the donations. Because if I started monetizing this YouTube channel, or I started monetizing Patreon, if they still have it, my ego would get involved. And I'd start counting the dollars instead of the help I can give away for free. I've got to look into this Vipassana. I absolutely need to. Shai, that's great advice. You'd wonder what you're getting out of it. That level of ego completely unravels the technique. The only way to learn Vipassana truly is to submit yourself as an ascetic, a newcomer. There has to be some form of ego death. The reason this kind of support is systematically undervalued is that a transactional system can't price what it creates. It's priceless in both senses of the word. What are you working on now with Zendo Lab on the research side? What questions are you trying to answer? The big question is how to develop psychedelic harm reduction as a field at scale. But before you can answer that, you need to create better tools for understanding what the field actually needs. So that's where we've started. The work sits at an unusual intersection, part research, part systems design, and part governance. Because the field has not historically had a former CTO or Chief Technical Officer, it feels like both a privilege and a responsibility to be helping define the technical and data infrastructure for a field that's still taking shape. We've trained upward of 6,000 clinicians and first responders in the Zendo methodology. When someone is going through a challenging psychedelic experience, the traditional response is to involve law enforcement or send them to the hospital, either of which way can be traumatizing. What we do instead is sit with them under specific trained protocols and allow the journey to pass so they can return from their altered state and go home safely. We started with one-to-one psychedelic harm reduction for therapists. Then we expanded to one-to-many by training first responders, firefighters, and EMTs. Now we're realizing the skill set maps many to many. If you can help someone navigate out of an adverse psychedelic experience, maybe as an executive manager, you can use the same techniques to help your team through a crisis that has nothing to do with psychedelic substances. How does that sound to you guys? How does that sound to you guys? Makes me really want to explore more this vipassana, a meditational process. And I can't even tell you how cool I think it is that there's no money involved. Let me, real quick, I looked it up. I was reading a lot about it last night. One second. Vipassana, I don't know if I'm saying it correct, which means to see things as they really are, is one of India's most ancient techniques of meditation. It was rediscovered by Gautama Buddha more than 2,500 years ago and was taught by him as a universal remedy for universal ills. This non-sectarian technique aims for the total eradication of mental impurities and the resultant highest happiness of full liberation. The courses. The technique is taught at 10-day residential courses during which participants follow a prescribed code of discipline, learn the basics of the method, and practice sufficiently to experience its beneficial results. The course requires hard, serious work. There are 3 steps to the training. The first step is for the period of the course to abstain from killing, stealing, sexual activity, speaking falsely, and intoxicants. The simple code of moral conduct serves to calm the mind, which otherwise would be too agitated to perform the tasks of self-observation. It goes on to say more. I was looking for the part where they talk about how much it costs. Anyways, it says the practice is often described as a boot camp for the mind, focusing on direct experience rather than intellectual understanding. Speaks to me right there. Empirical experiences rather than filling our brains with knowledge. And I'm not finding the particular spot here where I was reading, but they don't charge for it. That's part of the deal. And if you don't find a place in your area, a center that teaches it, there will be practitioners in your area that are offering their courses, and part of the code is they don't charge. Which leads me to today's teaching of the 77th verse of the Tao Te Ching, which basically talks about giving away. Giving stuff away. You guys liking this so far? Give me 5 people. Let's read the 77th verse. The way of heaven. One second. The way of heaven is like drawing a bow. The high is lowered and the low is raised. When it is surplus, it reduces. When it is deficient, it increases. The Tao of mankind is opposite. It reduces the deficiency in order to add to the surplus. It strips the needy to serve those who have too much. Only the one who has the Tao offers his surplus to others. What man has more than enough of and gives it to the world. Only the man of the Tao. The master can keep giving because there's no end to his wealth. He acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and does not think that he is better than anyone else. If you view the ways of heaven from a distance, you'll find that nature is perfect. The Tao is at work, invisibly keeping the divine balance. Dr. Dyer says, when I was in Sedona, Arizona, for instance, I took a tour of the forested areas in the steppes of the majestic Red Rock Mountains. After I lamented the recent fires that had decimated so many trees, the guide explained how this is actually nature at work. For millions of years, he explained, when the forests get too thick, nature's lightning strikes and thins out the forest. Without such an occurrence, the timber would choke on its own surplus. This is how our planet works. While at times natural events such as droughts and floods and hurricanes and windstorms, even excessive rainfall, can seem disastrous, they're actually maintaining balance. This is also clear in the lives of butterflies, flocks of geese, or herds of caribou and buffalo. The sport of killing upsets nature's system of dealing with surpluses. And the Tao agrees. When it is surplus, it reduces. When it is deficient, it increases. When nature is surplus, it decreases. When it is deficient, it increases. Observe nature, Lao Tzu says. If deficiencies exist, don't continue to reduce what's already in short supply. The lessons in these last final verses of the Tao are governing the masses by staying harmonized with the Tao. Lao Tzu seems to rail against people in positions of political power who took from the needy to give themselves more of what they didn't need. In today's world, we can see evidence of this practice in myriad ways, but especially in lawmakers voting themselves benefits to be paid for by everyone else. They give themselves 95% retirement plans, medical insurance for life, limousines, private parking spaces on public land, free first-class travel, and they strip the needy to serve those who already have too much. In countries where starvation is rampant, it's not unusual to see large amounts of food and supplies stacked on the docks while people die from malnourishment because representatives of the government think they're above all that. The poor TSA agents going without paychecks for a month now. The Coast Guard. And yet, our representatives aren't experiencing that kind of angst and pain. I'm not being political. This is what the Tao says, not Pops. The 77th verse of the Tao Te Ching suggests thinking about the surpluses we can put back into circulation to decrease deficiencies that exist elsewhere in the world. Vipassana sees itself as a surplus and gives it away free. Lao Tzu asks you and me to put the wisdom of this verse to work in our personal lives by seeing what we have, but don't need as an opportunity to be Tao people. Lao Tzu isn't asking our government, political leaders, or captains of industry. He's asking us personally. What man has more than enough and gives it to the world? According to this verse, the only man or woman that does that are those that are practicing the Tao. When there are enough of us, there will be a pool from which we Tao-centered people emerge to govern. Then we'll put into place the way of living offered in this verse. It's fairly simple to understand a surplus of money or possessions, but the word actually symbolizes more. For example, there's a surplus of joy you feel that you can offer to yourself and to your family. Then there's the excess of intellectual prowess, talent, compassion, health, strength, and kindness that you can share with the world. Wherever you see deficiencies in joy, abundance, educational opportunities, perfect health, or sobriety, make your own surplus available. Lao Tzu urges you to look at what's deficient and be an example and an instrument of increasing rather than a collector of more, which marginalizes and divides the oneness that is all of life. Reduce surplus. I am practicing this. I'm diminishing. I've started giving away things that I don't need, and I'm diminishing. I'm not saying this because I'm a big shot. It says at the very end, and does not think he is better than anyone else. If you're truly Tao-centered, you're not better than anyone else. But you can be a mouthpiece for the practice. You can use yourself as an example. I wrote up, told you last week, finally got to it. I finally wrote up my will. Giving it all away. And not just to people I know, but to a couple of organizations. And I'm not going to go more than that. I don't want to die with anything. I want to die with one cloak and one pair of sandals. Truly. I can't even tell you how much I mean that. I'm taught that here, but my brain and my spirit and my heart tells me that is correct. I've been shedding things for the last 4 or 5 years. The only reason I can even ask for a few dollars for fruit that I have in surplus sometimes, I'm already giving surplus away to Canada on a weekly basis. It goes up there, and it goes into a research center. And these people are doing great work. There is occasions that the fruit, there's a price sometimes. It doesn't even cover the costs of what it's taking me to produce the fruit. I hope you believe that. It just barely defrays. It's enough to get the cocoa coir and the grain. Maybe pay an energy bill once every other month. but the rest is coming out of Pop's surplus. And it is a way of living that I have never lived before. I was the gather more guy. The more I had, the better I was. And I look back now, I wish I could have given so much more away. You say you don't have surplus? You don't have money to give away? Did the word money ever come out of the Tao? You have compassion you can give. You have surplus joy you can give. You have the ability to work with people that are struggling with sobriety. You have intellectual prowess that you can give, you can teach. And you know what the most valuable thing you have, I have? You know what's the most valuable thing, and you have it in surplus. What is the most valuable thing do you think that you can give away? That's not a rhetorical question. Give me a couple of examples. Give me a couple answers. My love, that's a very valuable thing. I agree. My heart, love and knowledge, hugs. Oh, these are good answers. Now you guys are seeing your surplus. Ability to listen. Oh my gosh. These are good answers. My trust, True Heart says. And Cleanie, I was going where Cleanie just went. The most valuable thing that I have to give away is time. Is time. Because every second that gets spent, I'll never get back. And I only have X amount of them. And I don't even know how many I have. I don't know how many seconds I've got. I don't know how many minutes. I don't know how many hours. So when I'm giving those away, I'm giving away the most valuable thing I have. I know how much money's on my bank account. I don't know how much time I have. Time is so much more valuable than money. Where can you give away time? You guys are mentioning it here. In listening to people. In guiding people. In volunteering. Find somewhere you can volunteer. Well, I can't leave the house. I'm a shut-in. That's why they have helplines. Volunteer for an hour a week. To pick up the phone when it rings. Because there's somebody that you will give your excess hour to instead of the TV. And I don't know anyone that can find an extra hour in their day. I don't. I don't know anyone that's so busy that they can't find an extra amount of time. It may not be an hour, it may be 15 minutes. But you've got it. And nature gives it away. So should we. Reduce what's in excess in your life. And then offer it where it can be utilized. I have boxes of books in my garage. Boxed up. I've read them already. Next week, they're going to the thrift store. They have to. I've already read them. What good are they doing sitting in a box in my garage? Somebody will grab that book from the gift store, from the thrift store, and they will get knowledge. And I will have practiced giving of my excess. That's just one example. I have clothes that I can give away. I have more. I'm diminishing. And the more I give away, the more I get. And not in physical things. Begin with your stuff. Clothing, furniture, tools, equipment, radios, cameras, or anything you have too much of. Don't sell it. Rather, give it away. Don't ask for recognition for these charitable acts. Simply behave in the harmony of the Tao by reducing your surplus. Then think about your intangible abundance of joy and kindness and love and peace. And seek ways to offer those glorious feelings to those who would benefit from your bounty. Oh God, this is sound. I have goosebumps right now. I feel one part, I'm not bragging when I tell you what I'm doing. I want you to understand that, please. I'm using myself as an example. I use myself as a negative example often. I'm using myself only as an example to say, I am experiencing this. And the fulfillment that you get from it is beyond understanding. It is beyond understanding. I want you to know that. It feels so much better than putting another dollar in my pocket. I want you to have that experience. I want you to behave like nature, like a Tao person. And my goodness, when you start to practice those things, you have an abundance of kindness already. You will be more abundant. You'll have more to give away. Can you imagine? Oh, I only have a limited supply of kindness. Give that away. Watch how it multiplies. Oh, well, I only have a limited amount of compassion. Oh, really? Give it away. Watch how much more compassionate you will become. It's amazing. These principles are real, people. Nature fills the void. If you void yourself from something, nature fills that void. I want you to know that. And you'll know it when you practice it. We can all know something intellectually. But when we start doing it and learning it empirically by practicing, might as well start wearing a halo. Give a little bit of your time away. Pops, I don't have anything to give away. I'm broke and I'm like, no, just don't have it. You have so much more to give away than money. Stop thinking in material terms. You're a being of light and goodness and virtue. Practice it. Be an example of that. Just being an example is giving it away. Does that make sense? Just being in a model or an example, you're giving it away. People are watching, people are listening, people see you. And then they go, how does he do it? How does she do it? Let me figure this out. You just gave it away. And you didn't even have to open your mouth. Let's look at what a couple of Chinese philosophers say to close this message out. It's a valuable message. The Vipassana meditation group, they are giving it away. Helping people heal their minds for free. And isn't it, it keeps happening here. It keeps being serendipitous. I keep reading an article, I'll read something, I've learned something, and the next thing you know, I'm reading my study for the Tao Te Ching for today's message. I usually read the night before and put my thoughts together. And they align. It isn't on purpose. I didn't just, okay, I'm going to talk about Vipassana and giving and this 77th verse. It just happened. It's mind-boggling. The more I practice, Has anybody ever strung a bow and arrows, and you've got to, when you put the bow away, you don't leave the string on, right? You unstring the bow. But when you go to string the bow, has anybody ever done that? Most of us guys have at some point or another, even if it was a little kid bow. A lot of us have strung a bow before, right? Cao Heng says this. In stringing a bow, we pull the bow down to attach the string at the top. We lift the bow up to attach the string to the bottom. If the string is too long, we make it shorter. If the string is too short, we make it longer. This is exactly the way of heaven. The way of heaven does not intentionally pull down the high and lift up the low. It does nothing, and it relies instead on the nature of things. Things that are high and long cannot avoid being pulled down and shortened. Things that are low and short cannot avoid being lifted up and lengthened. The humble experience this. The way of heaven is to give, but not to take. The way of humankind is not to give. One more. Tu Wei says this, it's interesting. Not only the Chinese, but the ancient Greeks and Hindus, and Finns, the Pawnee, the Arapaho, all likened the moon to a bow. Thus the way of heaven is like a bow. We pull down the things that are high. If the string is too long, we shorten it. We give it away. We pull up the things that are low. This is the bow. When we go to string it, we pull it down from on high, the high part of the bow, and we pull up the low part of the bow. And we put a perfectly balanced string between the two. Those who possess the way supply the needs of 10,000 without saying a word. And only those who possess the way have this capacity. We touched a nice little topic there with the old bow. Huh? You guys recurving and compounding, and bows are fascinating. But give me 5 people thought it was cool how the Chinese took that bow and metaphorically used it for the idea of giving away, pulling down the high and lifting up the low, and creating a perfect balance. Isn't that beautiful? I was reading that last night and getting goosebumps. Beautiful. So I encourage you, give up your excess today. Make that your practice just today. Go make it a practice. Find something today and give it away. And if it isn't a material object, nobody says it has to be. You have excess. You have beautiful talents. There's some of you here that are musicians. Teach somebody how to play a chord. Some of you are beautiful artists. Teach somebody a brush stroke. Give away one of your brush strokes. And I don't need to go on. You've got the idea. And at the end of the day, you've got time. You guys give time away here every day. I want you to know that. When you're here and you're making comments and you're lifting each other up, the bottom of the boat, you're balancing nature. You're giving of your time here to each other and lifting each other up. You couldn't ask for something more fulfilling or more holy. And you're certainly not here trying to take from each other. You're not here marketing each other. You're not here judging each other. You're not here figuring out how you can work an angle. That's the old us. Certainly the old pops. Always looking at the angle. What can I get for me? I love you guys. I appreciate that about it. I mean that. That's the kind of people I like to be around. When there's more of us, guess what we're going to do? Eventually, we will govern the world. And not govern in the way of government, but in the way of leading people to water and watching them slake their thirst with goodness and kindness and compassion. So I leave you with the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Teach the 4 agreements to somebody. You have an excess of the knowledge now. We talk about it here all the time. We're going to redo the book here this summer. You're going to have this excess knowledge and a new way to live. Give that away to somebody. Be impeccable. Don't take things personal. We don't have time for it. And that isn't compassion and love. Have no expectations. We just read it here. Nature balances itself without any expectations. It just does. And then do your best. Do your best today to give of your excess. Whatever you look at right now and say, I have a little bit of this in excess today. I can make somebody laugh that hasn't laughed in a while. I like what a couple of you said, I can go hug somebody today that hasn't received a hug in quite a while. I can pick up the phone and tell somebody, I love you, and give of your excess love to somebody that hasn't heard they're loved in a while. There's so many ways we can practice giving of our excess. Right, guys and gals? And I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me this morning. And importantly as well, thank you for being here and giving of your time and giving of your goodness and giving of your compassion for each other to each other here. Thank you. And we will see you guys here tomorrow. Let's keep growing. Let's keep showing the world what examples we can be and give it away. Thank you. Let me scroll you guys out of here. I want to say goodbye to my friends individually. Whoever's on here. Mr. Marmars, good morning, good friend. HB, of course. Really doing a nice job on your show. You guys are giving it away. You're giving away time. You're giving away knowledge. You're giving away smiles. You're giving away what it looks like to be a brotherhood. Jesus Christ in Australia. He's giving away his humor. And he is humorous. Excuse me, married Michael. That's Daniel. Good morning. Kimberly, good morning. She gives a lot away. I can tell you that personally. Herbie, they give away their time. Herbie and Derek Anderson being our moderators here. They're giving away their attention. They're giving away their making sure that we're guarded and we're not trolled. You're going to find so many ways to give. Sammy P, keep loving, keep giving it away. Joe Dees, thank you, my friend. Derek Anderson. Who else? Trueheart. Very nice to see Trueheart here when she has the opportunity. Nice to see her. Mello. She's a sweetheart. Gives stuff away. All of you do. All of you. Gypsy Life. You guys saw a huge box she gave away to the old Paparoo. And I'm sure she didn't just give that only to me. Never. She gives away her sweetness and kindness and her willingness to do anything for us here as a group. She's our secretary. Tyler and Sarah Bear, I appreciate you too. One of these days we're going to give away hugs to each other, Sarah Bear. Cleany and Trenty and Shy. You had some nice stuff to say this morning, Shy, to give away to us. Ray Cook and Zozo LSD and Mike Barabal. And I'm scrolling. Who else can I say goodbye to? Mr. Phillips. If I'm not saying something behind your name, I still know you're giving it away or you wouldn't be here. Laura, you have a divine day, okay? Paige, have a beautiful day. Kimberly wants us to ripple kindness. That's giving it away. Shroomy. And who else do we have here? Cluck Cluck. Thank you for being here, Cluck Cluck. It was nice to meet you. You guys have a wonderful, beautiful, fantastic giving away of your surplus day. Pops, peace, love. Pops out.